Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Spotlight Show. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez. If this is your first time, welcome aboard. If you've been here forever, let's get into it. How about Duke the Dumpster and my guest this week be a tag team? Yeah, Brox Boulder and Duke the Dumpster. Two big men. I don't know. Yep, that's my fantasy booking for the week. Brox Boulder and Duke the Dumpster Drosy being a tag team, taking on, the Viking Raiders or something like that. Just have big men slapping meat in the middle of the ring. Yeah, that's the way I am. That's the way I am this week, guys. Super excited to have Brox come on the show. Brox and I have not crossed paths, but Brox and I probably have a history. And one of our favorites, a couple of our favorites here on Can Crushers, and I will bring them all to Brox's attention when he comes on the show. See if I can stir the pot a little bit. Stir the pot with Brox Boulder. Guys, you've heard about Brox Boulder because Sarah Bubbles brought him up a few episodes back and said, hey, reach out to him and get things set up. This is going to be an interesting podcast. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to hear a story, a little bit of a different story getting into professional wrestling. So, yep, you know how we go. We're going to wait and hear everything from the horse's mouth. But, of course, we have to tell you about cool stuff that Al Snow has at Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and the Hooligans have down at Collar and Elbow. When you shop and the little promo code box comes up, type in Can Crushers. And I'm doing all this in my head, by the way, too, folks, as I do this. Can Crushers. Capital C in Can. Capital C in Crushers. You'll save 10%. You already love everything that Collar and Elbow has. The hats, hoodies, tees. You love the feel of the shirts. You love the designs of the shirts. You love the logos. You love all of that. So why not save 10% by using Can Crushers? It essentially is shipping, guys. You're getting shipping for free if you use that Can Crushers promo code. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? It really is. All right, guys. Last week was Ask Can Crushers. I thank you guys for getting all those questions in. That's awesome. And continue doing that. We'll answer questions as we go on Saturdays about what's going on in professional wrestling. And you can do that by cancrusher69@gmail.com. Or slide into some of our social media DMs, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All of them are at cancrusher69. You know where we're at. Where do you find us? Anywhere podcasts are. That's pretty cool. You can listen to this smiling, happy face that has Brox Boulder and Duke the Dumpster becoming a tag team, taking on the Viking Raiders, or coming to maybe IWC, or, doing something in Ohio against some of our favorites, Jock, Samson, that's going to be talked about here shortly. Yeah, you're going to have all of that. That's because that's what we like to do. And if you're in the professional wrestling business, referee, announcer, if you're in the professional wrestling business, you want to be on the show, come on. We love talking professional wrestling. We want to know your story. We want to know how you got into wrestling. We want to know your thoughts on what's coming up around WrestleMania season. It's pointing season, folks. Is Cody going to be the one pointing at the end of the day? We'll find out. We'll find out what Brox has to say, too. after we hear from Al Snow.
Wrestling, a love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand, the wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey y'all, this is Sarah Bubbles. Keep listening to Can Crushers.
And welcome back to Can Crushers, guys. You heard how excited I am to goat. This guy, my guest, the bully's bully. I'm going to be the bully's bully, Brox Boulder. Brox, welcome to Can Crushers. How you doing?
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited. The bully's bully, and I'm really not going to push you that much, but we'll get there, right? We'll get there.
That's good, man. I've not been pushed around too much in my life, so I wouldn't suggest starting it tonight.
Well, you've been pushed around by my buddy Jock Samson, the GOAT of professional wrestling.
Yeah, God, self-proclaimed GOAT, whatever. I don't want to talk about that guy.
All right, we will though. We will down the line. We will.
Okay, fair enough.
So, listen, we have not crossed paths yet. I always pull the fourth wall down instant. We have not crossed paths yet. We are going to, though. I have this inkling, knowing, and everything. You were brought to me by one of my favorite guests this year, Sarah Bubbles. By the way, sweetheart. She's like, you need to talk to this guy because he's got an interesting story about getting into professional wrestling. That's what I'm here for. I love interesting stories. So, Brox, what did you do? What is so special about you? And I'm really being a heel tonight. I apologize. But, like, what did you do? How did you get into wrestling?
Nah, that's how you be as much chill as you want to, but that's my specialty. I like those guys. Listen, it's funny. I liked wrestling as a kid, and I kind of joke that people who have the story of, I liked wrestling as a kid, and when I always want to aspire to be a wrestler, those are boring stories to me. If that's your story and you're listening, I'm sorry. It's a boring story to me.
Good for you.
But for me, man, what it was is I have a friend in the business, and we played basketball together outside, and I wasn't in the business at the time. We were playing basketball together on a weekly basis, and I knew him as his name, and he that's who he was to me. That he was just that guy. And I had went to a show. He had invited me to a show, and I went to the show, and his first live event I'd ever been to in my life, major professional wrestling, WWE, AEW, whatever, is the first one I'd ever been to. And he had won that promotion's title. It happened to be the promotion that I work for mainly now, called FTC. But he had won the FTC title that night. And I was like, well, that's awesome. Congratulations to him. And we continued to play basketball. Then I had joked with him a few times. I would like to get in the ring and just see if I can do it. Now, mind you, I was in my late 30s when these conversations were going on.
Here comes the story.
Yeah, and I'm not DDP, who I've got to spend some time with since I got into business and shared some stories with. He started at 36, man, and I'm not him. But it was a bucket list thing, man. I thought, I wouldn't mind getting in the ring and see if I can roll around with these guys and see what it is. Because on the outside looking in, you're like, it can't be that bad. So he told me about a couple schools. I wasn't that committed to it to drive 2-3 hours away. I'm in Southern Ohio. I wasn't really that committed to it. And then Joe Pace, who owns FTC, opened up the Art of Grappling right here in Ironton, Ohio, literally a block or two from my house. So my friend was like, man, you don't have an excuse now. There it is. Right there's your doorstep. Walk into it. So I did. I thought, well, it's a bucket list thing. Like I said, I'm going to go in when they open the doors, and I'll go in day one and just see what I can do. Well, the trainer then was Jillian Hall. Unless you've hidden under a rock and know nothing about the business, Jillian Hall is somebody in the wrestling business. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She was the head trainer then, and she whipped my butt night one. And I thought, well, I'm not a quitter. I'm going to stick with it and just see how it goes. For a few weeks, I had no long-term plans at all. I was 39 at the time. And I guess I just fell in love with being on this side of the business opposed to being the fan of it. I love this side of it. And I'll tell you the back the story up a little bit. I left this out. My bad. A week before I had started training, I was already signed up. I was at another show supporting my same friend. And in front of me, there was this fella. There's this little kid sitting there, maybe 12 years old. And he had made some wrestling championship belts out of cardboard.
We all did that as kids. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that was cool to relate to. But the cool thing for me is, like, as people were coming out, he was pulling out the belts that he had made for his favorite wrestlers. And I'm in Hurricane, West Virginia, which is just a stone's throw from here. I'm probably 35 minutes from where I live. So when my friend came out, he pulled out a belt for him. And it hit me, man. It was like, I just know this guy as who he is and who I played basketball with. But this kid spent time making a belt with this guy's name on it, begged his dad, hey, can you take me to see these guys tonight at this show in this town? Will you spend your money that you've earned working to do this for me, Dad? And any good parent, the dad done what his kid asked him to do. I'm a father. I would have done the same thing. But to me, man, all I'm seeing is my buddy. But this kid is seeing his hero. And a week before I started training, I was like, that's what I want to do right there. I want to do that. I want to walk out and kids be like, I love me some whoever. Because at that time, I didn't have who I am now. I want to be that guy. And it happened pretty early for me. And I've got a great following and a great fan base. And the kids that, approach me and say, man, Brox, you're my favorite. It takes me back to that one moment, that very first moment of, I got that. I got what I wanted out of the business, but now I want more of it. I want to entertain everyone that comes in contact with me. So that's kind of where I am. I stuck it out with Jillian, and Bobby Blaze came along, and they keep me around. So I guess I'm all right at what I do. So
you win. I can't even touch that. I can't, because you didn't do it because you want to be, and we'll get there because I want to know, like, when you found wrestling and everything. So I'm just going to throw names out. You don't want to be Stone Cold. You don't want to be The Rock. You want to do it for the kids. Dude, you mentioned you have kids, I have kids. Like, that's huge. I'm sitting here tearing up because I understand exactly, like, that is why I'd want to do it. I am not going to be Adam Cole or even Orange Cassidy. I'll probably do as much as Orange Cassidy does. But listen, I'm not going to be able to do what he does. But you just brought it up. Guys, anybody that listens to Can Crushers this year, good effing luck trying to top that story. He's doing it for the kids and nothing more.
Yeah, man. It's cool. My name is Brox Boulder, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I stole my son's name. My son's name is Broxton, and I stole his name because it's cooler than mine.
You're an asshole now, but
and no, I'm not. I named him. I could take the name if I want to. No, that's the thing, man. Is I want to. And listen, I have adult fans that will come up, man. Be like, I had a rough week at work, and the only thing I looked forward to was FTC or BGW or BWA or wherever I'm working. And the only thing I looked forward to was coming to the show tonight. And your match was so good. It was entertaining. You made me laugh, because when I'm in the ring, man, I'm trying to have fun, but I'm trying to win at the same time. And I have a strong belief that I can do both and do that. I can win and have a good time. So having my adult fans come to me and say, hey, listen, work was rough, but this was all worth it, man. Thank you. That was a great match. It sends chills down my spine, man. It really does. Just that me getting in and be able to have fun does something for somebody else. It's so rewarding.
So you're essentially, we're going to round. You're 3 years in the business, already a win. You could never wrestle another match, and I don't want to wish anything upon you, but you could never wrestle another match, and you won in the business, right?
I feel like, I feel like that I had the success that I wanted pretty early. I got the gratification as far as, like, making people feel good about themselves and what they're doing pretty early. I don't know that I could, not wrestling, not getting in the ring would be tough. I have an aspiration of training after I'm done because of my mentor Bobby and what he's done for me and what I do at the school. So I have the aspiration of staying in the business doing that. But yeah, man, I feel like I got to where I wanted to be pretty quick, and that's just the people around me. That's the training, the training that I received, the promoters having the faith in me, and the fans really coming to see me, man. That's all about them.
All right, let's do the rewind before I really start crying. Because you win. When you were little Brox, Brox Pebble, essentially, then, like, who introduced you to wrestling? Mom, Dad, Uncle Joe, Grandpa? I mean, who said, hey, watch this because you're going to love it?
What's so funny, man, and it's like, for me, like, it's just so cool. Like, Sarah's story is she didn't like wrestling. She
At
didn't know
all.
what it was.
No,
And then, nothing. And then, I talk her into coming to training, and now she's ate up with it. For me, man, that's probably the most generic part of my story is, I honestly, I was flipping through the channels one day. I knew the stuff from back in the day. My older brother, he liked Hogan, and he liked, the Ultimate Warrior. And I watched that stuff with him, and I liked it because I was a little boy. But what really wrapped me up into wrestling, what really brought me into it, was Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. And it was, I had the thing of the bully's bully. I will fight for anybody that can't fight for themselves, and I'm going to stand up to anybody that wants to fight. I will back down from no one. That all comes from Stone Cold for me, man. Like, he didn't give a crap. It was his boss, clearly, or anybody. He would fight you standing straight. He didn't care. Stone Cold put it over for me, man. And I wanted to be Stone Cold. I wanted to be Stone Cold until I found what I am now. But he's the one that really kind of put it in for me. And I got the opportunity to see him at WrestleMania in Dallas last year. I'd never been to a WWE event in my life. My first one was WrestleMania in Dallas. So
wow.
That was cool. Yeah, that was really cool for me.
Oh my God.
So cool.
Great story. First ever WWE event was a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Your first event was seeing your buddy win a championship and this kid give him a title. I mean, come on. Like, this is a mark on my end. It's a fairy tale story. I mean, I was aptly named. My mom knew that I was going to be a mark for wrestling. So legit, name this kid Mark. This is all such a great story. It really is.
You can't write it any better, man. And it's not anything. And that's the great part of it. Like, to be the age I was at when I started, and to be where I'm at the age I'm at. I'll be 42 in a month, and it's tough, man. Like, you can't write that stuff, and it makes sense for people to be like, nah, it didn't happen that way. For me, it is, and it's just been phenomenal for me. I absolutely love how it's gone for me, and I love the business, and it works that way for me with other people too. The new guys and girls that come into the school, I tell them, bust your butt and get where you need to get. And when I eat, you'll eat too. Anywhere I go in a promotion, I always try to put my guys and girls here at the school over, or my friends in the business, and say, hey, man, you need to look at these guys too. And I think that's what everybody should do in the business. If you're eating, you should share with your brothers and sisters. So
yeah, because essentially, we've had legends on the show, but essentially, wrestling's a family, and your family starts with your organization first, and then you feed otherwise. If you can feed a friend of a friend in another organization, then you do, but you take care of your family first.
Absolutely, man. And that's FTC and especially the Art of Grappling. We are a family. It's just a thing. I feel like that, if I can take care of them, then they can take care of someone. And it's that whole pay it forward thing. And it's just a good thing for, as a human, to do, man. It's not just, I don't feel like it should just be in a wrestling family. I feel like in life, you should just be that way. And I was raised that way. I was raised by my grandparents, and, my grandfather was born 1911. So he was very, very old school. But that's just the way I was raised, man. And if you can eat, then you should have everybody else around you eat, as long as they deserve, to eat at your table.
Right.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
No.
I don't want to exclude anyone, but, just because I don't want you to eat at my table doesn't mean I want you to starve. But I want people that are close to me eat at my table,
Yeah, if you're pillaging for stuff as well, or you're trying it as well, I'm going to share. God, we're going to bring it back to the Bible all of a sudden, but I'm going to give you some of my fish and bread as well, compared to
Right.
your you starving. Yeah, I
Right.
completely
Absolutely.
understand it. Listen, we're the same age.
Absolutely.
We're the same age. I understand the grandfather and grandma
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So older, getting into the business, and listen, if I go to my wife right now and say, "Hey, I'm going to Brox. He's going to train me." She's going to look at me like I have 16 eyes. Dude, you just had surgery. You fell off the garbage truck. You're about ready to die, but you're going to go train in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
What did your family say? Because you already are putting in your head what my wife's going to say to you.
Well, I had a little bit of an advantage. I've always played sports after high school. I've played in numerous basketball leagues and flag football leagues, and even tried the semi-pro football thing around here that we have a couple teams local. But slow pitch softball, I call it old man softball. But
Yeah,
I played.
we
slow
call
pitch
it beer
softball
league softball. But
beer,
yeah.
yes, there you go. Yeah, I've been playing that since I was probably 22. So I've always and consistently I've been playing those sports since I got out of school. So I've always kept something that's kept me active. And my wife is always, God bless her, she's a real all-star in this, man. I'm gonna tell you that. She always kind of backs my, "You're gonna do what?" Anytime I come to her, she's like, "You're gonna do what?" God bless her, she supports it, man. I told her I was going to try professional wrestling, and she just said, "Oh, okay." Um, the only thing she asked was just that it didn't take away from family time, and I've had to adjust accordingly with dropping some softball and dropping some other sports and devoting more time to wrestling and more time at home. But like I said, she's the all-star, man. She just asked that I keep family first, and that's what I've done. But she's been supportive. She was super supportive. Now I had family members that weren't my wife, mainly my older brothers or uncles or whoever, be like, "You're going to do what now? You're going to end up in the hospital." That's what I heard. Yeah, I've had some people that question it, man. But like I said, I mean, we just went over my story. So um, the right training and working with the right people and just the right support, man. It doesn't really matter how old you are. If you have the desire to do it, you can do it.
Now, are they front row? Are they buying your? They better be buying your merch and not saying, "Hey, Brox, can I have a shirt because I want to wear it out to the bar tonight?" Are
Yeah,
they repping your stuff?
absolutely, man. I have the best support system. My very first show match was against the self-proclaimed goat, Jock Samson.
Oh, by the way, you brought him up this time. He is the GOAT,
I
the
did.
man. Yes.
I said the self-proclaimed goat. I said what I said. My first match was against him, and my softball guys, my softball family came out in drones, man. I mean, they might have been 25% of the crowd. They came out and supported the crap out of me, and I loved it. My kids were front row. I have 3 children. I have a freshman at Marshall University, and then I have 2 smaller children, 9 and 6. But they were in the front row. My wife is in the front row. If it's local, my wife comes, my kids come. I don't really ask them to travel far. That's my burden, not theirs.
Right. That's a
But
good
yeah,
dad.
man,
That's a good dad and husband.
they've got things to do, man. They got to follow me to hours away. But no, my family and my friends, especially my softball guys, they're phenomenal. I can't say enough about them, man. My one friend, PC, he's worked for FTC, like he's done doors for us and security, and my other buddy Brian's done the same thing, man. They've been great. They've been awesome. I can't say enough about them.
All right, so let's talk about we talked about your first match with Jock a little bit. Let's talk about your training, and you've really you've talked about Jillian, but I want to know really Bobby. Let's know Bobby's story, how he comes in, takes you over, and molds you, because Bobby and Jock have a past as well. I mean, I don't want to make this the Jock Samson show as well, but listen, you're intertwined with both of these. You're going to hate me, but across the board, they're both legends. They really are. You can hate Jock as much as you are, but what he does, he put asses in seats. He does the things. He does it. Bobby is Bobby. Everybody knows Bobby. If you don't know Bobby, get out from underneath your rock.
You're missing out. You
Yeah,
don't know Bobby.
you're intertwined with both of them. So let's talk about this.
Well, my story with Bobby is not a complete story without mentioning Jillian. So the school started in December of 2020. She was here for 11 months, but right after we started in March of 21, Bobby came along and they kind of co-trained the school. And it worked so well together because Bobby and her are completely different training styles. It worked for everybody. We essentially got two, I mean, world-class trainers at one time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was great. So my story and Bobby's with him doesn't really go without Jillian. But when she left, yeah, Bobby stuck around, and I always tell everything about Bobby. He's the guy that teaches the why and the reasoning and the purpose in what you're doing in the ring. The sprinkles, we call it in class. Bobby he wrote the book on wrestling for me, and when he preaches it in the ring, even if I'm up there assisting him, I'm stuck to him like I'm watching, you know, anybody speak that you would have to be drawn to, and you have all your attention. Bobby has my full and undivided attention when he speaks. When other people are speaking in the room during class, and Bobby's talking, even if he's not talking to someone specifically, I tell them, "Hey, man, shut your mouth and open your ears. Bobby Blaze is speaking." I don't care to tell him. Bobby has turned me into who I am. Again, my story is not complete without Jillian Hall or almost everything, but Bobby has really took it to another level and made me be who I wanted to be and pushed me to be who I am. And Bobby, I owe him everything. He's my absolute mentor and one of my closest friends.
Yeah. That's cool. I love. I can feel that in your heart too. Just coming through the phone that you're like, I would do anything and everything for this guy. Right now, which is awesome. So, all right, let's talk training. When you actually start this training, and everything starts, older in the business, is there a moment you're like, oh, what did I do? What is this really what I'm doing?
Yeah, first bump. I took that first bump and I went, yeah, this was dumb. But being who I am and coming where I came from, I'm not a quitter. But it was just a thing, man, where I found myself almost every other training questioning, and I almost found myself a couple times in the beginning, thinking, is my back hurting enough to text the group and say I won't be there tonight? No, don't do that, you big sissy. Do it anyways. Go on to training. I early on, probably my first 6 weeks, I had a concussion, had to sit out 4 weeks. But I took my butt to the school every time we trained for 4 weeks, and I shut my mouth and I listened to what Jillian was saying, and I just listened that way. When I got back to 100%, she didn't have to go backwards to teach me. I just knew what she was saying, and I went in there and done it. And that was just her part of saying, if you want this bad enough, you do things like that. So, but yeah, there were a lot of times I questioned it and was thinking, all right, well, bucket list is checked. I've had my fill. Deuces.
Peace
But
out.
I didn't. I couldn't do it, man. I can't. I've never been built that way, so I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to be that guy now.
What was the hardest thing in training? Because you spoke about, since high school and everything, you've been in sports. So you're very athletic, sports minded. What was your hardest thing? Was it the ropes? Listen, I haven't had a match, but I've ran the ropes. I've been backstage.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've made myself do a bump, which is, it's awkward.
Yeah.
Or was it the psychology, which is, listen, I'm a mark, as I said before. I don't know the real psychology that you guys learn and is embedded into your head. What was the hardest thing for you?
For me, I tell everybody, even the really young athletic guys that come in, girls, I tell them, you look great. You look like you're in great shape. Ring shape and shape are two different things. They are not similar. They don't run parallel with each other. They are not the same thing. So for me, I could run bases. I could run up and down a basketball court. I could do those things ring shape was not what I was prepared for. Cardio was the thing that I struggled with the most. And anybody that doesn't know, I'm not a big dude. I'm 5'6" on a good day, 5'7" in my boots. And I go about
Touche.
between 250 and 265. So I'm I'm about like, to put it in perspective, a lot of people compare me to Kevin Owens. I look like Kevin Owens, they say, and I kind of have the same body build as Kevin Owens. But that was the thing for me. It was the cardio thing, man. It was hard to get into ring shape. Getting into a ring and working for 5 or 10 minutes is the equivalent of running 2 or 3 miles. Really, I mean, because you're up, down, you're up, down, you're up, down, you're up, down. So
Yeah, it looks like you're a Catholic mass. I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
I can say it.
Yeah, that's
Catholic.
okay. I know. I got it. Listen, my favorite basketball coach on the planet, John Calipari. I get it. He's Catholic. I'm okay with it.
Right. That was for anybody else. I knew you would be okay with it before I get hate from the millions of people. Oh my God, he's bashing on Catholic. I'm Catholic. I'm allowed. I was just going to ask you, and you threw this out. Who is Brox Boulder? And Kevin Owens was one of the first ones, which then essentially brings me to Stone Cold. And then your moniker is Bully's Bully.
Mm-hmm.
So Bully Ray, too. Those are the three that I kind of have swirling around. And then you're really going to make fun of me. Just for what you wear. I don't know why Man Mountain Rock comes, because Boulder and then just the random colors.
Yeah.
So those are the four people, when I see you or just hear your name, I'm like, this is it. This is who he is. Mm-hmm. I'm nowhere close. So shit on me. Go ahead. That's fine tonight.
No, I'm not going to, man. Like, what's funny is the singlet thing started out as a joke. Some guys were like, you should. Jillian always said I reminded her of a little Taz.
Okay.
And that's kind of where the Singlet King thing, and not to poop on Taz or anything like that. He was probably my least favorite wrestler ever growing up. Like, I wasn't a Taz fan. I've not had the opportunity to meet him. I've met a lot of really cool people in this business and a lot of my heroes.
This
I've not
past
met
year
Taz.
at WrestleCade, huh? We'll talk about that as well.
Last couple years, yeah. But I've not had a chance to meet Taz, and I would love to. But he wasn't one of my favorite guys. So, but going into the business, I wanted to be compared to other guys, not like Taz. As far as long as I am in the business now, for Jillian to say, you remind me of Taz, it was a compliment. Because Taz can work his ass off in a ring. But he was a singlet guy. He was a tight guy. And he was a powerhouse. He just wore you down. But he was also another guy that did not step down from fights. He did not care who you were, where you were. He would fight you. That's just kind of who Brox is, man. That's where I've been my whole life. I'm not a big dude. I'm short but I've always been kind of stocky and broad. So I've had to fight for everything I've had in my life when it comes to sports. The tallest guy on a basketball court is normally the star. It's not, Spud Webbs aren't made a dime or dozen like these bigger guys in basketball. So I had to bust my butt in basketball to be where I was. On the football field, size doesn't really matter, but it does at some point. So I had to bust my butt off in football. In baseball, it's the same thing, man. And you're not walking around with a bunch of short guys. The guy plays for the Astros, Altuve, I think is his name. He's a short guy, but he's a star. But they're not built. Stars are not built on a small platform. So I've had to bust my butt my whole life. So Brox is just who I've been my whole life. I'm a fighter. I'm not going to back down from anybody's challenge. If you tell me I can't, I'm going to tell you you're wrong and then show you why you're wrong. If you can't fight for yourself, I'll fight for you as long as you have my back when I need you to have my back. So that's where the Bully's Bully came from, man. I want to fight for the people who can't fight for themselves. I want to shut the people up that want to talk and not really have anything to back it up for themselves. I will shut you up. That's me.
I love that. All right. Let's take a moment away from wrestling, and even before we get to your podcast, because that's coming up that we're going to talk about too. What do you like to do in your time off? You said your wife says, hey, make sure you have family time. And, what's your family time? If you notice, a week ago, me and my wife were playing NBA 2K just because we randomly had a night off together. She's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't want to do anything but play video games. She's like, yeah, let's go. And I didn't
Yeah.
know, like, the old people were, and I say old, but it was our era, like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, these people are in it.
Yeah.
She's like, let's play.
Yep.
We played 3 games and I went to bed. I'm 3-0 and I kicked her ass. I love you, honey.
Okay.
But yeah, what do you do?
Well, I tell you what, man. My wife and I we're kind of boring. We've been together 14 years, 15 years, and our favorite thing to do is just literally sit and watch TV together, shows together. Like we love Yellowstone and The Walking Dead and just different shows like that. And I sit on the floor in front of her and in the recliner chair, and she'll sit in the recliner chair, and we just watch TV. That's one of my favorite things to do with my wife, man. But my friends, man, softball and getting together and do old gaming night like you did. A buddy of mine's going through a hard time right now, so I just went over to his house and sat in a rocking chair. I just realized, like an old man. But sat in a chair.
Those are the best nights, though, dude.
Yeah,
I'm telling
man,
you.
we just shot the bull, man. We just talked, and one night he brought his kids over, and they played with my kids, and he and I just sat in the living room and shot the bull, or just anything, man. I'm easy to get along with. I'm 41. I'll still play Xbox. I play Xbox with my kids, or we went to Malibu Jacks, which is like an indoor amusement park locally. Just me and my kids, and Joe Pace, the owner of FTC, and his child, went and hung out and just done that stuff, and just whatever, man. It's just a down to earth thing for me, man. My shoot job, I'm a social worker for my shoot work.
Oh, nice.
And
thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But it's just I have a simple life, man, and I'm having fun with it. I like to just sit at the house and mess with my kids. My 6-year-old is a little Broxette in training. She could probably cut better promos than most of the people in the business right now.
Yeah, well, she's going to be on next week, by the way, folks.
Yeah, I'll get her on, man. You probably will have a great time with her. But yeah, it's just, I'm a simple guy, man. I want to just hang out and chill with my friends and go to B-dubs and watch a game, or hang out with the wife and watch a movie, watch a TV show. Or I tell you, one of the fun things we really do in downtime, it's wrestling related, but it's not. A lot of the guys and girls that are here at school, we're all close. So we'll all come to the school. And I'm actually at the school. I'm sitting in front of the school. I'll come to the school and we'll watch pay-per-views together, and we'll all chip in on food. And I call them pay-per-views, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Events. But,
they will always be pay-per-views, because I hate streaming live events, because it sounds so stupid.
So,
yes.
Yep, but we'll chip in on food, and we'll have some drinks, and we'll sit here at school and we'll all watch wrestling events. And it's not, sometimes we're watching, for homework, but a lot of times we're just watching just to be friends and be a group and just learn how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just be normal.
That's a struggle in life right now, Brox. It really, like, people don't want to be social anymore. And I want to bring it to that. Like, get out of, trust me, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Monday through Friday, I want to come home, I want to lay on the couch, let her play with my balding spot, or, I'll rub her feet or whatever. And we watch American Idol to Big Brother. Yes, those are our nights. Weekends, we would love to do that. Go out, have a beverage, or just go do something. Yeah, I don't need the world by the balls. I just need my family, my close friends, and to do that pay-per-view thing. I'm coming to the next pay-per-view. I'm just gonna knock on your door. Boom, Mark's
You're absolutely
coming.
invited, man. You're absolutely invited. And it's just we do still, we just sit and watch and eat and almost kind of critique too. I mean, we'll not, obviously we're not critiquing guys that are getting paid millions and hundreds of thousands while we're not, but just things that we see that, maybe we would have tried, or whatever. But it doesn't really end up being about wrestling. People bring their significant others and their kids, and we just coexist. And I think that the COVID really cost the world of that. And it's fun for me and my family, my extended family, to get together and be that. My best friend that I've known my whole life, come to our last one that we watched. He doesn't wrestle, he doesn't do anything, he just supports me, but he came and hang out with my wrestling family. And it was just, they all coexisted, man. And I feel like that's just what you got to do to be happy.
it's taken a turn here, even on the podcast, from different organizations I talked, instead of just being focuses on like one or two. You hear that more because it's not like our show. It's our show, capital OUR, and it's the whole family instead of da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I like that. And I like that you guys, as a wrestling family, open it up to your extended family to come, and that's cool. I mean, you're not going to open it up. Listen, I'm going to say this. It's not going to be open to the masses. It can't be. I understand that. But, so folks, Can't Crush Your Nation's not going. But me, I am. But it's just you. And you can invite a couple few, and it means the world then. I love that. So you're taking that family, and you're winning this freaking interview, by the way. I don't know if that was your to-do list, but yeah.
Anytime I do anything, I'm prepared to win, bud.
Yeah. All right. So talk about your podcast too, because then we'll get back into wrestling. Some of maybe harder hitter questions and what's going on in 2023. But you have a podcast. You just had my best friend, the GOAT, on recently, who kind of shit on Bobby, essentially, which wasn't the right thing to do because they have stuff going on. Like, what's going on? You have a card coming up.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Hitting the Ropes, Brox Boulder. Joe Pace allowed me to start a podcast, and I done one episode, and it was the Drizzling Craps. And I thought, well, I'm not gonna ever do it again. And then I got the hankering to do it, and I put a little more effort into it. The very first one was that we done. I just literally before I got with you, I think completed one with a good friend of mine, Huff Manley, and but Joe kind of said, "Hey, let's put some effort into this one. Let's try it again," and it's been a huge success this time. Total of 5 episodes, 4 since we returned. I've done 4 in 4 consecutive weeks, and the first 4, I'm averaging about 500 views per episode, which is phenomenal for me. I feel like just starting out.
It's great. I mean, it really is. Yes.
So, I mean, some have gotten more than others, but if you average them out, I'm getting about 500 views per. I did have the self-proclaimed GOAT on the episode, right? The last one before tonight. He did say some unfavorable things about my guy Bobby Blaze. But Jock says a lot of things, and sometimes he backs them up, and sometimes he gets his foot stuck in his mouth. And I'm here to guarantee you, to all your listeners, to anybody that's following the show just because Brox is on here, or because Jock himself is listening because he heard his name, Jock Samson, I will personally guarantee you Bobby Blaze is going to shut your big ass mouth February 18th. Take it to the bank. It's going to happen.
You, as you said, you and the GOAT, Jock Samson, also have had a past. Your first match, but you kind of got him back. Did you have another match, or did you get him back? Is it 1-1, and we need to have this, the rubber match? Because I did lose a little bit of track. I knew you had a match, but did you have another match?
Well, so Jock and I have been in the ring with each other 2 times.
Okay, so there needs to be a rubber match.
Yeah. So the first one, I'm not a guy. If I take an L, I take an L. If you had to cheat to do it, I still took the L because I wasn't on top of my game to keep you from cheating to do it. I'm not gonna be a guy that blames any kind of loss on somebody else. If I took it, I took it. But he low blowed me and pinned me in my very first match ever. And he was at that time the FTC champion. He outsmarted me. He my first match, it is what it is.
He is dastardly. Match, I will give you that. He's dastardly. He does
dastardly.
Yeah.
That's a great word. Our second match at that time, I was, and still I'm close to 500 days at this point as the Art of Grappling champion. at that time. This was in February of last year, our second match. He had just taken the FTC title and said it was his. It was vacant at that time. He had taken it and just said, "I'm going to be the champion." I'm not down on that, man. You earn championships. You just don't call yourself a champion if you're not. So I issued the challenge, man. My belt for yours. But I just wanted the FTC championship back on the FTC side for Joe Pace to do whatever he wanted to with it as far as a tournament or whatever he needed to do. I didn't want the belt. I just wanted it away from Jock Samson. And FTC at the time was having a feud with another promotion called ECC, based out of Ashland, Kentucky, which is literally across the river from us.
Stone's throw. Literally a stone's throw.
Yeah,
You could.
yeah. Everything. All our close big cities are all stone's throw. Huntington, West Virginia, Marshall University is 15 minutes away from where I'm at right now. But yeah, they're right across the river. Excuse me. We were having some problems with them. Jock and I was in the last standing match. I had speared him through the table. I had speared Jock through the table. I finally got my revenge on this self-proclaimed cheating champion goat that he calls himself. King of the one-night stands. He might be sponsored by Viagra, but he might be the king of the one-night stands, whatever. So all I'm saying is I had him done. I had him beat. I speared him through the table. And then the promoter, the champion or whatever he was from ECC, mad at Jock Samson because Jock Samson was their champion and their promotion didn't like it. Slides in the ring to take out Jock, and I was just an innocent bystander. And so their promoter took me out with a chair, hit me in the head with a chair, knocked me out. He then picks Jock up and throws him back through the same table, and we both don't answer the 10 count because it was a last man standing match. It was a draw. He kept both of his titles, and I kept mine. But let me issue one more thing here. Jock Samson, 2 times you've had to use something to get away from me. Now I'm seeing it on social media that he's on his farewell tour, or whatever it's called, the one last night stand or one night stand last, whatever it's called. I don't give a crap. I want one more Jock Samson match. I don't care where it's at. I don't care the stipulations. I don't care whatever you want. You call it, buddy. Because the first 2 times you got me. You outsmarted me, and I can accept that. This time, it won't happen. I want one more match with Jock Samson. Since you're his pal, since you think he's the GOAT, you put that in his ear, buddy. You do that for me.
I will.
That I want Jock Samson one more time.
I'll call him right after we get done with this, and I'll be like, Brox Boulder, I'm booking it at, I don't know, St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. Good luck. You both have to get here.
Whatever.
Get ready for the 6-hour ride for me to be the referee.
As long as I get in the ring with him, I'll ride with him. I don't give a crap. I'm just telling you. If he survives Bobby, now that's the other thing. If he survives Bobby Blaze, because this is Bobby freaking Blaze we're talking about,
right?
If he survives Bobby Blaze, I want him again. Plain and simple.
February 18th. This is huge because Bobby Jock, a lot of other great matches going down on that card. Another one of our, Can't Crush Your favorites, Ray Lynn's going to be there. So if you're in and around the area, get there. Get there, watch, support, cheer for Bobby, make fun of Jock, cheer for Jock, cheer for Bobby. Do all of this. It's wrestling. Enjoy it. Yeah. It's going to be a great night. If I didn't have a wedding, I would be there. Literally. Freaking family have to get married on weekends.
Priorities, man. Priorities.
I know.
Now listen, it's a great card, man. Like my tag team partner, I'm in a tag team called Grappling Inc. with Titan Troy, and who is a future star. You heard it here. I'm glad you got this on audio. Titan Troy will be a star in the business wherever he wants to go. But he's currently my tag team partner. And he's wrestling a guy named Huff Manley, who's a good friend of mine in the business. And that one could tear the roof off the place. Might be the match of the night. So I just think that the card top to bottom is stacked, and that's what FTC does. We are the gold standard when it comes to independent wrestling, and that's what we aim to do every time we put the show on.
Is there any way that a guy can watch this the day after, or is it going to be taped and then sold, or streamed somewhere that I can buy it later, or other people can buy it later? Now I'm just begging, but essentially for other people as well. Is there a way to watch this?
Not live, and I wouldn't say necessarily right after the show would be over the next day. Now, what we do is we try to put as many matches on our FTC YouTube page as we can. Yep. Just look up FTC Entertainment. We put a lot of our matches on there. A lot of the guys that work will have their matches videoed, and they'll put them on their specific social medias. I do that almost immediately. I have someone that specifically does my matches for me. Most of the time, actually, it's Bubbles. Believe it or not, she films my matches for me.
Sarah.
She's an asset in the Brox Boulder Army for sure. She's helped me along the way, but she films my matches for me, and I usually get them on my YouTube page pretty quick. So that would probably be the only way. We've done a couple and put them on DVD and put them out and sold them, but
everything's digital now. I hate to be that way. I really do.
I know, and Facebook Live would be fun for a show, man. But I think the wrestling event itself shouldn't be streamed. I don't think any event should be streamed live. Especially the independent scene. Take your butt to the ring, man, and watch it. I think that a lot of fans get more out of going to these smaller shows than they would in the nosebleeds at the top of any stadium that AEW or WWE is going to fill. And that's just the feeling I have. I have other people tell me the same thing, but for me, an independent show where the people are actually going to interact with you, and the wrestlers are going to talk back to you, and they're there to 100% make you feel like you got your money's worth on the independent scene, man. So just streaming these independent shows, I think, is the wrong idea. Take your butt out of the house, man. COVID has locked up for so long. Get your butt out of the house and go check a wrestling show out.
Wholeheartedly agree. Nothing should be live. I will wave that flag until we all die. Nothing should be live. But I do like the Title Match Network and stuff like that. If because people do have things going on weekends. It's weddings, there's this, it's added. But it doesn't come on for a month later. Because I want to watch this card. But a freaking cousin has to get married. I have to go to a wedding. He listens to these, by the way, all the time, too, so I will get slack. He's got to get married to this girl that he's known for 24 years. Jeez, this is the weekend that you pick. But I'm just saying, nothing should be streamed live. Go. Enjoy that. Get made fun of by Jock, or get a high five from Bobby, or dance with Ray Lynn, or anything like that, because those are memories. Take your kids. Enjoy the hell out of it. But if you can't make it, there should be a way that we could watch it in like the Title Match Network or IWTV or Indie Pro Wrestling. There's a million of them out there. Yeah. That's what that should be used for. 2 weeks to a month later.
I like that, and I know that our promoter does. It's so hard to. I really think that for Joe Pace, his main concern is the people that came out and showed the support then and there.
Agreed.
And putting on the best show for them. If we could get something done, a few weeks later, great. But when it boils right down to it, right there in front of everybody, that's the best show that you need to put on. And that should be the main concern. I think that's why we set ourselves apart from most other people.
And listen, that's where the money's at, too. Let's not sugarcoat anything. The money is where the live is.
I will tell you this, and I don't want to give you too many details away here, but I feel like you have to get into the business because you truly love it. Money cannot be the reason you get into it.
Oh, agreed.
It just can't be, unless you're on a grand scale, on a bigger promotion, or you're the promoter itself. As a worker, you need to get into it because you love the business.
Oh no, I definitely meant for the promoter. I didn't mean for me or Tom Smith or anybody like that. No,
right.
Yeah, the promoter, the money is when it's live, right then and there. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
yep.
For me, it's a hot dog and handshake, and I'm okay with that because I'm a wrestling fan.
Right, absolutely.
All right, let's hit some of these bigger things. Because I always love this question. Wrestling, and if you listen to Sarah's, you know where I'm going. Wrestling has changed in our lifetime for sure. Being 45 and 41, it's from the boys' club to this to everything included. So let's talk about some bad things in wrestling, but we still want them out. What's your number one thing that if you could get rid of it in wrestling, what would it be?
Leg slaps.
Yes.
Slapping your leg. Jesus Christ. Learn to kick, man. Quit slapping your damn leg. It drives me crazy. And I find myself catching a lot of Bobby's mannerisms as the longer I'm in this business. And I hear myself saying things that Bobby would say. But yeah, that's one of them right there. I cannot stand a leg slap without saying too much. Just learn to kick a person. Just learn to kick somebody.
Kick somebody in the head.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man. Just learn how to do it right. Yeah, leg slaps, get it out of the business. I hate it so much. Hate them.
I love it because everybody's taking it every different way. So you took it to leg slaps. I love it. Best advice that you've gotten, have it be from Jillian or Bobby or anybody else, because I'm sure you've done like a seminar or you come across. Listen, I saw your pictures at WrestleCade. Did you talk to some people down there and say, hey, I'm in the business, give me some advice? I want advice from you.
So I'll tell you the best advice I ever got. But yeah, I've got to talk to a lot of cool people. Actually got to spend a lot of time with Rikishi at this past WrestleCade where he actually called me a noose. So it's on my Twitter. If anybody wants to go look at it, I shared the crap out of it. He definitely shared my Twitter post and said the oos. He called me a noose. Screw Sami Zayn. I'm a real oos. I wasn't honorary.
WrestleMania match, Brox Boulder, Oos, sane.
Let's go. Oos, fake Oos versus real Oos. No, I've talked to so many cool people, man. I don't want to be the guy that name drops, but I'm going to. I've got to spend a lot of time with like the Godfather and DDP. Our last show we had in October, we had Devon Dudley, and he actually sat and watched some stuff that me and Titan Troy do, and gave us some free advice, man. I mean, you're taking free advice from a Hall of Famer, a Hall of Fame tag team guy.
One half of the greatest tag team champions of all time.
Thank you.
Get ready because everyone are the Road Warriors. Listen,
so good.
No,
I don't care
come on.
about them. Whatever.
Yeah.
You take advice from him. I've got to spend some time with I've had seminars right here at FTC with Gangrel, Shane Douglas, Tommy Wildfire Rich, Melina. We've had Scotty Too Hottie. I mean, and we're having Sue Young the Friday before.
Crazy.
The Friday before our show on the 17th of February. We're gonna have Sue Young right at our school doing a seminar. I have had some of the coolest people in front of me give me some of the best advice. The best thing I've ever been told, and again, I'm partial. And he didn't say it this way. And Jillian even kind of said it, but she didn't say it this way. I have molded it to this because it's the same thing I tell anybody that walks in the door at the Art of Grappling professional wrestling school. They say, what can you tell me? What's the best thing you can tell me? Shut your mouth and open your ears.
Yep.
Shut your mouth and open your ears. If I'm in a locker room, I went big with some of the names, but sharing a locker room with people like Chance Prophet and Chase Stevens and some of the guys that work at OVW, like the Tate twins and AJ Kazana. And I've shared a locker room with a lot of really cool people, and it seems that the same thing is this. Listen to the people, listen to the veterans, listen to the guys who know what they're talking about. Don't interrupt them. Don't take their advice and do the exact opposite. If you really truly want someone to watch what you're doing and critique you and kind of give you great advice, the best thing to do is really shut your mouth and listen to what they're saying. I can't. That's the best advice I've ever gotten. And all those guys I name dropped have essentially said the same thing. You're getting great training with Jillian and Bobby. They both obviously know who those people are. All these people know who those people are. So they're saying the same thing. Listen to them. They know that Chance Profits works with everybody. Such a great guy. I don't know if you know Chance Profit is.
Yes.
He's so good, man. And one of the nicest guys in the business. Has a school about an hour and a half from us. And we've used some of their guys and things like that and girls. But Chance is phenomenal. And he said the same thing, man, just in the softest, most genuine voice. Just listen to the guys. Just listen to the voice. Listen to the ones that's been there a long time and know what's going on.
You hear that a lot. Al, I sat in one of Al's training in OVW years ago now, and essentially he's like, listen. He starts with listen, and he doesn't mean that just listen to me tonight. He says listen, pauses for a while so they all kind of catch up. He's like, this is what we're going to do. And it literally is just listen to me. And just run with it. I'm not going to steal you wrong because your name is now attached to Al Snow. And your trainees are now attached to Bobby or Brox or, listen, we're going to continue down the line of people. You don't want your name like if I'm going to train underneath you, Brox, you're going to be like, this guy's an idiot. Get him out of here because he's not listening. That's what you want.
Yeah. The thing is, it's really cool. Bobby always says, Bobby has two different ways of doing things, and I appreciate the way he does it. I don't think it's a bad thing. Bobby will tell you, I'm helping you. And then Bobby will tell a select few, I trained you. There's a difference. There's a huge difference. Helping someone is telling them something, and if they didn't listen, you tried. Training someone is pushing that person to get the best potential out of them because you see something. And if I can, I tell a story to everybody that has me on any show or anybody that wants to hear it. It's a great Bobby story.
Go ahead. This is your time.
The best thing that's ever happened to me in the business was when Bobby Blaze told me to get the F out of the ring. So I was early in training. He came in March of 21. This was probably at the very end. It was probably in the month of March of 21, maybe the 1st of April. And he was talking. He was at the other ring talking, and he said somebody wanted something. I guess it had kind of put him over the edge. And he said, "I'll give you guys compliments when you earn them." Well, anybody that knows me knows I'm my biggest critic. No one can say anything to me that's going to hurt my feelings or any worse than I'll say to myself. And if I do something wrong in the ring, I'm like, you moron. And I'm talking to me. I'm
right.
My biggest critic. So when he says, when you guys do something right, I'll give you a compliment. Or if you guys do, when you earn it, I'll give it to you. I said out loud, because I'm not a shy person. If you want to know how I feel about you, just ask. I'm not intimidated. I'm not a backwards person. I just said, I guess I'll never get one then, because I was frustrated with something earlier on in the night that I did. Bobby misheard me. We had an exchange. I tried to tell him, it was just a it didn't go. It didn't go well. 5-10 minutes later, I'm in the ring. He showed me how to do something, and I said to him, "That doesn't make sense to me, Bobby." And he said, "Well, then get the out of my ring." So, I did that. I got out of his ring, mad as crap. Screw wrestling, screw Bobby Blaze. None of these people. I was mad. But what I did is I pulled myself together. And he was walking to his car, and I walked into the parking lot, and I said, "Hey, Bobby, we need to talk." And we stood there man to man. Bobby's biggest thing is man to man. You're a grown ass man, have a conversation about it. Went out to him, told him what I said, why I said it, told him it was a misunderstanding. The thing that upset him was he thought I was blaming him for something, because I told him I will never blame my trainers for anything. If I do something wrong, it's my fault, not theirs. He thought that I was blaming him and going back on my word, and he's a big man-to-man guy and living up to your word. Handshake deal, that's what Bobby's about. And he thought that I went back on it one of the first couple of times that he was there. And we cleared up the misunderstanding, and then he started pushing me, and he started busting my ass, and he tells me to this day, I'd done it because I saw something in you. So the best thing that's ever happened to me was I didn't shut my mouth, and I didn't open my ears. And then Bobby said, "Get the hell out of my ring." It was the best thing that ever happened to me, because then Bobby and I became who we are today, as close as we are. And he put me in the position that I'm in today because I shut my mouth and listened. and done what I was supposed to do.
So you didn't, what I've got out of all of that, and you're going to be like, oh my God, Mark, shut up. What you said was the best advice that everybody in professional wrestling gave you, you didn't take day one.
Well, to be fair, I didn't hear any of that advice until afterwards, until I got my ass ripped by Bobby Blaze.
Okay.
I didn't start seeing
Touche.
those guys until later in my career.
Touche.
But I should have taken it from the beginning. Jillian said, be quiet and listen to what we say. And I should have taken her advice, and I didn't. I was young and not young. I'm old.
Yeah,
I was
going to throw you right under the bus on that.
I was young in the business. And thought that, I've excelled in all these other sports. I could excel in this. And I didn't get it. I didn't get that. And so I didn't listen to Jillian. And after Bobby threw me in the ring, and then it started making sense to me. Shut up and listen. And I owe it all to. I owe everything I have to Bobby, man. I'm telling you, our story is the best story because we have a man-to-man relationship where it's, say what's on your mind. If we're doing a training and I don't like what he specifically is designed for the training, I won't say, hey, dickhead, let's do it this way. I'll say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'll tell him my reasoning. And Bobby is great about going, that's the reason your mind is like it is, because you're thinking. And I think he does it to me on purpose. I think he's testing me.
He's a genius in the business of clearly he's testing you.
He's an evil genius. He'll send me matches in the middle of the night and be like, what do you see here? And I'll just have to see what I tell him when I see. He's an evil genius. I love it. But yeah, we mesh well, man. And Bobby is definitely the reason I am who I am and where I'm at.
I love that. I love that you went from getting essentially thrown out of the ring that now your best friend in professional wrestling is Bobby Blaze. That's cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
100%.
All right, fast forwarding here a little bit. Goals for 2023. Like, what do you want to do from here on out? What's your... I essentially want both. I want for the business, and I know it's Bobby's, but you have some ties with it. For the business, and then for you. Like, where do you want to go? Do you want to go as an old man? I'm joking because I'm older than you. Do you want to go to Canada, New Japan, Britain to wrestle, something like that?
It's funny for 2023. I just want to work everywhere, and I want to work everywhere that has a good promotion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to work. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a snob where I don't want to work a crowd of 20, because I will. I'll work a crowd of 20. If I'm able to entertain someone out of 20, great. But I want to work promotions that have really put in the time and effort to build their brand. And I want to be a part of helping them build that brand.
I get that.
And if I can do that, I want to do it. So 2023, I want to work. I just want to wrestle, man. By the time we have our show on the 18th, I think I'll be at 503 days as the Art of Grappling champion. And it's been an honor to be the very first Art of Grappling champion. And I feel like I've represented the company and the belt well for 500 some days. But my mentor is the FTC champion right now. And I feel like that to not want to be the FTC champion of a promotion that built who I am is saying a lot. So 2023, I want to be the FTC champion. I don't, and if it's Bobby, it's Bobby. I love the man, but at the end of the day, I want to be the FTC champion. So 2023, I want to work, I want to wrestle, and I want to put more gold around my waist.
All right.
As far as long-term and personally, I don't set goals on making it to New Japan or going. I want to go wherever this life takes me. I don't want to set goals and be disappointed by them, and I don't want to set goals and say, that is what I want to do. What I want to do is have a career that I'm appreciative of and that the fans love to come out and see. If that takes me to New Japan, or it takes me to Canada, or if it keeps me within a 300-mile radius of my house, I just want to know that the fans appreciated me, and for them to know that I appreciated them more than they'll ever know. So
I love those goals. I love the championships. Yes, I agree with you as the business part, but essentially where the road takes you, Yes. And I'm going to put a spin on that. Same thing. Barstool grabs me. Awesome. Sirius grabs me. Yes. iHeart grabs me. Yes, that's awesome. But listen, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I have a strong listenership. These are my meat and potatoes. These are my roots. These are who love me from day one. I have get ready. They hate me when I do this. I have the idiots that like me. Good. That's what puts smiles on my face. I get the emails. I get that. It's cool. Exactly. I'm going to go where the road takes me. You're going to do the same thing. If AEW calls you tomorrow, hey, you're going against Wardlow, you're not going to say no.
Absolutely not.
If Sirius calls me tomorrow, you're going, head to head against Dave LaGreca on Busted Open. Awesome. Let's do this. If I don't get that phone call, Tom Jones or Bob Smith or whatever are still going to send me an email saying, hey, idiot on the other side of the microphone, what do you think about what MJF's doing? I'm going to tell you. You're going to listen. We're going to have banter. That's what wrestling is. And you're going to have awesome matches with whomever you're going to have matches with. We're old. We get this life thing, folks. We do.
Yep. That's all I want. I want the business to take me where it thinks I deserve. I want the wrestling business to decide what I deserve out of it.
Yep.
I can bust my butt in the ring and train and do all the things right, but ultimately the fans in the wrestling business is what decides where you go. And that's where I want it to take me, wherever it thinks I deserve to go.
On both ends, Brox. Really, really on both ends, in the ring and on this side. You know that even from having your own podcast. From 500, it could have went from 500 to 1 million instantly, or it could have went from 500 to 1.
Right.
You love it. All right. I want to know your dream match. I really do, because I love this. And Manny Fernandez says, like, every 6 months, every year, your dream match should change just because. So, who, where, and what stipulation?
Man, that's a tough one for me. I'm going to give you probably the oddest answer.
The oddest answer? Are you going to tell me like Kurgan or the oddities or what?
Well, I want to say this, and I don't want to sound generic. I want my dream match. My dream match is my next one. That's my next match. That's my dream match.
Damn it.
So I can't really.
Well, you went back to the dad feels again. I hate you now.
I can't tell you that I have a dream match. I have people out there I want to wrestle, but I can't say it's my dream match. I've got guys locally I want to wrestle. I've got guys, what I would love to step in the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah, he's my hero. But is it my dream match? No, my dream match is just to continue to be in the business and be able to wrestle. That's my dream match, man. I don't have the one specific person.
I get it.
For the wrestling business to continue to accept me and the fans continue to accept me. That's my dream match, man. I don't want to sound cliche. I don't want to sound like a dork, but I feel like at 39 when I started this and to be still excelling at 41 and hoping to do that at 42 and 40, however long, that's the dream, man. I'm living on what a lot of people's dream is, and I'm doing it so late in life that I just want it to go until it can't no more. That's it. That's all it is.
I'm not knocking you. One, I love it. Yes. Two, as a professional wrestler, listen, there's superstars that have retired prior to you starting. You know that. I mean, I'm not saying you're living on borrowed time in the wrestling business. In sports in general, 40's old, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I love that you said that, because you could have said Stone Cold MSG in a, whatever, last man standing match. And everybody, oh, yeah, that's a great match. You were honest. You're like, my next one. Again, if you want to fight Bob Smith, cool. Yeah. That's your next match. I love all of that. The dad feels, man. I love it. I really. I'm saying I hate it because you're being honest, and it's awesome. You're being you. Brox, just living life for wrestling.
It is, man, and I want my kids to be the same way. I want them just to live life however they want to live life, and I have so many odd views on different things. I was raised in a Christian household, and you're raised to not accept this, not accept that because you're a Christian. But I don't share those same views, and we won't go into all that. But I just want to live my life, and I want my kids to live their life just enjoying what's next. And if the next thing, I mean, like I said, would I love to wrestle Stone Cold or Jericho, or would I love to see Eddie walk down the aisle one more time and it be against me? Hell yes, man. If you're in a business, you don't want those people, you're wrong. And even some of the new guys, the guys that are in there right now, like I absolutely love Ricochet. We don't match styles, but I love Ricochet.
No, not at all.
I feel like he's 100% being misused in WWE, but I love his style of wrestling. He's so good. I even like Logan Paul. I hate to admit that, but he's so athletic and so good. These guys I would love to get in the ring with. If you're in a business, you don't want to get in the ring with them. You're in the wrong business. But at any given time, it's over for me. It's over for anybody. It's not just because I'm 41. It's over for anybody, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the ones that you look at, like, unfortunately, you look at Draws and Owen and those guys, and almost Stone Cold.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and almost Stone Cold. Yeah.
And those were freak accidents. It wasn't. I mean, you look at what Big E's going through right now. They're just freak. They're freak accidents. So at any given time, it could be over. So my dream match is just to go until I decide that I can't no more. So my dream match is my next one because it might be to the point where I decide I'm done.
I love it. And I love that you brought up the kids and pushing it for the dad moment there as well. So, yeah. All right, this is your time. Sell some merch. Tell us where you're going to be and your socials to follow. All your socials, your YouTubes and stuff as well.
I'm so easy to find on social media. I have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm the only Brox Boulder out there. If you type in Brox Boulder in any of those social media sites, you're going to find me. It so happens I tell everybody I'm the only one, so that makes me the best looking one, right? I mean, by default, so that works.
I guess so. Yeah.
I'm the only Brox Boulder out there, I think. So
best looking Brox Boulder out there.
Exactly. So go any social media site you go to, type in Brox Boulder. I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees under Brox Boulder. So if you contact directly, I post my shirts and things I have for sale. If you email me or message me directly on any of my social media sites, I'll get back with you. I run most of my own stuff, and I'll happy to ship things to you if you want to buy something through there. Might be a little bit cheaper than Pro Wrestling Tees. Don't tell nobody. So
most certainly is.
I'm a wrestler of the fans. So if you guys want, you message me and you want something, I'll do everything I can to help you out.
And when's your podcast release? Is it every Wednesday?
So we do. I've done the last couple ones. The ones we've done, I've done them all Facebook Live on Wednesdays at 6:30. I don't have one scheduled for next Wednesday at 6:30, but that might change tomorrow.
Yeah, trust me, they change by the hour.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thing. They're Wednesdays at 6:30 on my Facebook page, Brox Boulder, found on Facebook, and I try to bring in some of the ones people want to see, man, and even the ones I don't want to see. I don't want to see Jock, but I brought him in.
You had to bring a Jock one more time. Yay, the GOAT.
Well, I know. I mean, I just I wanted the Mark in the room, the name Mark, to get one more feel for Jock.
I know. Stirring the pot. Brox, I had a great time tonight. Thank you for coming on Can Crushers. We're going to make everything happen that we need to get down there and watch pay-per-view with you and more. We'll leave that more ... for others to find out later.
Please do, man. I'd love to have you guys down here and get you in there and then put you through some training here, man. Bobby and I'll put you in the ring and we'll do what we got to do.
That's the more. That wasn't a ... So, yeah, there you go. I'm probably going down to see Brox and let him throw me around. I might be his tag team partner. We'll see.
Titan might get upset with that.
We'll see. Well, he'll already be well and gone by the time I get down there. He's getting signed next week. He's good.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope so for the guy. I love that guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brox Boulder. Oh, my God. I'm going to be his tag team partner. Titan, I'm sorry. Well, we'll talk about it. We're gonna work this out. I'm super excited to get to meet Brox and do some stuff with FTC and just why not get in the ring? Why not? Why can't I? Tell me why I can't once, and I'm going to prove you wrong. Maybe it's because I jacked my back up at work the other day. No, see, I don't need those excuses. I need to do it and prove myself one time, and then continue to prove myself each and every time. Because as Brock said, the dream match is the next match. That's awesome. And oh my God, did he not get you guys with the story about the kid creating the wrestling belt for his buddy, and that's what got him into it? I knew there was a story when Sarah Bubbles, the unpoppable one, said, hey, you need to talk to Brox. I knew, okay, there's got to be another story. Okay, so he's older getting into the business. Okay, whatever, that's cool. It's fine and dandy. You're older getting into business. But it's not because I want to drink a beer like Stone Cold, or I want to do DDP yoga, I want to have hellfire and brimstones like Kane, or any of that stuff. It's because of the kids. The kids, the fans, and I'm not just saying just the kids, because there are a lot of great professional wrestling fans across the board, and they do create, and I've seen them for other organizations create art for a fan and say, here, I love you so much in this. Yeah, Mark can do this. Mark, we need to sit down and adjust life and see how this works. One time. Who's going to help me on my way? Who's going to pump me up along the way? I feel something from Brox. I really do. Maybe it's the age thing. Maybe it's the we're both vertically challenged thing. Maybe it's the weight thing. Maybe it's just the way he talks. Maybe it's because he's got a family and I got a family. I don't know. But there's something here. So Brox, I love you. Okay? That was random. It's weird. You don't know me like that, but there you go. I love you. So let's make this happen. Why not? Let's truck across the United States to get some training and do this. I mean, Ohio. And then maybe, just maybe, Jock Samson will hate me as well. Jock Samson's always hated me. But he is the GOAT. So Brox Boulder, the bully's bully. All right. Thank you very much. Guys, this was a great episode. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. Sarah Bubbles, thank you for bringing Brox Boulder onto Can Crushers. Great show. Great show, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all that, and listen to our shows. These are the stories that I love to hear on Can Crushers. This is why I have the Spotlight shows, so you guys can understand there's wrestlers all over the United States that want that next match to be their match. It's not about always the Randy Ortons or the Ricochets or stuff like that. Independent wrestling, great independent wrestling, has the likes of the Brox Boulders, the Bobby Blazes, the Raylands, the Jock Samsons. This wrestling, it's a family. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.